Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, a fiery first debate for GOP presidential hopefuls. We'll take a look at how candidates are trying to separate from the pack and build on their momentum. And a Clark County community is rallying behind a young boy injured during an altercation on a school bus.
Plus, we are watching out for warm temperatures and rain chances on Friday. Those details coming up as Mountain News at 5:30 starts now.
Dedicated to Southern and Eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. It was another typical summer day out there, but those temperatures could go up even more tomorrow. Meteorologist Cameron Aaron has the latest on this First Alert Weather Day. Cameron?
Yes, Steve, the forecast is rather complex as we get into your Friday, possibly watching out for some warm temperatures, but also watching out for maybe a few thunderstorms as well. Here's a live look from the WYMT studio. We are dry under some blue sky, but that current temperature is actually near average at 84 degrees. We had showers earlier today that did help to knock those temperatures down, but again, we are watching out for more heat as early as tomorrow. Right now, most of us in the middle to upper 80s, but a few lower 90s in Whitley County, also into Wayne County as well. We do have a heat advisory for Lawrence County, also Wayne County, West Virginia, and that will last until 8 p.m. this evening. But for most of us, we are below that criteria for a heat advisory right now. But that could change as we get into your Friday. Up on the radar, we are dry, but notice we had showers and storms earlier this morning. And again, that did help to lower that heat risk today. But again, that could change as we get into tomorrow. This evening, though, we do stay dry, also mild. Those temperatures fall into the upper 70s and lower 80s. And once you factor in that dew point, very muggy as we go into tonight, and lows only falling into the middle 70s as you wake up on Friday. But again, possibly watching out for more 90s on Friday and a few more showers and storms as well. Those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. Republican presidential candidates squared off in the first debate of campaign 2024 in Milwaukee last night. Now they are trying to capitalize on whatever momentum they were able to gain as they look to separate themselves from the rest of the field. CBS's Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
The things we need to do to fight waste.
A day after meeting on stage, GOP presidential hopefuls are trying to build on their momentum following debate night Wednesday.
We've got real issues that need real solutions.
There's a lot of people up there that said a lot of things. I'm the only one that's actually delivered on all these issues.
I'm going to stand up and tell the truth about where our country needs to go and about how Donald Trump has failed us.
The 8 candidates on stage sparred over several issues.
Is climate change real? Yes, it is.
The climate change agenda is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax.
Most of the attacks were aimed at 38-year-old entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy, whose views highlighted divisions within the Republican Party.
People that know me well know that I'm a fighter.
I don't fault them for their frustrations. There is a newcomer that threatened, that's surpassed them significantly, and they weren't expecting that.
Notably absent Wednesday night, former President Donald Trump, who declined to debate.
The interest level is really high even without Trump.
Aaron Call, director of debate at the University of Michigan, spoke to us from Milwaukee.
No one totally separated themselves, and I'm not sure it'll impact the race in a big way in relation to the absent frontrunner Trump.
Where do the campaigns go from here?
Debates can often serve as a springboard to positive momentums, their own media cycles, the raising of money, which keeps campaigns viable.
Call points out the news cycle on this day following the debate will be dominated by Trump surrendering on charges in Georgia of conspiring to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The next GOP primary debate is scheduled for a month from now, September 27th, at the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library in California. Former President Donald Trump is shaking up his legal team ahead of his surrender tonight in Fulton County, Georgia. Lead attorney Drew Findling was replaced by Stephen Sadow. Sadow is an Atlanta-based attorney described as a special counsel for white-collar and high-profile defense. In a statement, he said Trump is innocent, adding that he looks forward to the case being dismissed or Trump being found not guilty. And we understand Trump is heading to Georgia as we speak to surrender. Of course, there will be much more about that on the CBS Evening News at 6:30 and later tonight on Mountain News at 11. The Fulton County Sheriff says the leader of Black Voices for Trump is now in custody in Georgia. Harrison Floyd is among 18 co-defendants charged with interfering with the 2020 presidential election. The sheriff says he does not have a bond agreement yet, unlike others in the case. That means he needs to appear before a magistrate judge. Floyd is charged with racketeering, influencing a witness, and conspiring to solicit false statements. The Justice Department is suing SpaceX for discriminating against refugees. The DOJ says in posted job listings, SpaceX claimed only green card holders and U.S. citizens could work at the company. It cited export control laws as the reason. There are some specific laws that limit foreign nationals from accessing key information about space vehicles, but the DOJ says those laws do not prevent SpaceX from hiring refugees. A mass shooting at a historic bar popular with bikers in Southern California has left 3 dead and at least 6 others injured. CBS's Cara Finstrom has the latest from Orange County, just southeast of Los Angeles.
Patrons at Cook's Corner Bar and Restaurant were enjoying all-you-can-eat spaghetti night and live music when gunshots rang out Wednesday evening. Witnesses say the shooting started in the picnic area. Officers got to the popular Trabuco Canyon Bar within 2 minutes of the first 911 calls.
Deputies arrived on scene and dispatch could hear gunshots in the background.
Police say the suspected gunman shot and killed 3 people during at least 2 rounds of gunfire.
Deputies then confronted a male subject that was armed with a gun. At that point, a deputy-involved shooting occurred, and that involved multiple deputies. The man believed to be involved in the shooting is deceased at the scene.
One man who escaped told police his friend died after being shot in the back while running away. Another woman said she begged the gunman to spare her because she was pregnant. He told her to leave. The Orange County District Attorney identified the gunman as John Snowling. Officials say he was a retired sergeant who worked for at least 3 decades at the Ventura, California Police Department. Cook's Corner is a well-known bar, popular with bikers and families, a roadhouse that's been around since 1884.
We're like, wait a minute, Cook's? No way. I mean, it's like this sanctum that you feel that you're in, you know, when you're at Cook's, and you're safe.
Police say the investigation is ongoing as they continue to work through interviewing at least 40 witnesses. Cara Finstrom, CBS News, Trabuco Canyon, California.
The Orange County Sheriff says investigators believe the shooting started as a domestic dispute. One of the injured is the suspect's ex-wife. Yesterday, we shared a story of an incident that took place on a Clark County school bus that left a middle school student injured. But 2 days after the incident occurred, the student and his family are receiving an outpouring of community support. Alyssa Williams checked in with a few community members to learn more.
Following the situation that left 12-year-old Bo Baker with a gash on his head, a question posed by community members across social media was why there was no bus monitors on the bus at the time of the incident. Clark County Schools Transportation Manual states that bus monitors are only present if students under the age of 4 are on board, if the school requires one for a child with special needs, or if there are behavioral problems on the bus. While the situation is continuing to be investigated, 12-year-old Bo Baker is receiving some community support in the meantime.
You never want to see this stuff pop up on the news, but when it happens in your community, it's so much worse. So I really felt that I needed to do something.
When Brandon and Tabitha Ashbrook learned of Bo Baker's story, the pair reached out to his mother the next day to see how they could help him.
2 of his biggest hobbies is Kirby and Pokemon related.
That's when the pair put in their own money alongside donations from the community to purchase a Nintendo Switch and some games for Baker. They say this project came together within an hour, then they delivered the gifts.
He stood up and he was like, oh, I have to at least give you $20. And he started to head that way, and I'm like, no, you're okay. This is for you. You deserve this.
Baker's mom, Casey Martin, says she can never repay the community for the support they've given her son.
Every time I share that with him, he's like, you guys make me feel like Captain America. You're making me feel like a superhero. Now he's understanding that there are evil people in the world, but there's also really great people, and there's more great people than there are evil.
In Clark County, Alyssa Williams, WKYT.
Martin adds that a local jiu-jitsu business has also reached out to offer Baker free self-defense lessons once he heals from his injury. Some precious pups are looking for their forever home in California following the devastating wildfires that ravaged parts of Hawaii. This batch of 20 orphan pets from Maui were flown to San Diego this week on an Alaska Airlines flight. Animal rescuers transported them to the Helen Woodward Animal Center to open up space at shelters on the island.
Hawaii Animal Rescue Foundation on the island of Maui asked if we could take some of their shelter animals that have been in the shelter for a long time, and by taking them we're opening up spaces so that people who have lost their houses can put their animals there.
The pets will be available for adoption in the next few weeks once they clear their medical checks. U.S. mortgage rates are at the highest they've been since 2001. The 30-year fixed rate average is 7.23% for the week ending Thursday. That's up a 1/14 of a point from the prior period. The new data is from Freddie Mac. Its chief economist predicts rates will stay at this level or climb higher in the short term. Federal Reserve hikes and low inventory are influencing the rate. You may have noticed slightly less pain at the pump recently. AAA says the average price for a gallon of gas fell 4 cents last week to $3.83. That came despite growing demand, which usually increases prices, but the overall price of oil has fallen, and that also influences prices at the pump. Experts warn these prices could be short-lived. Here in eastern Kentucky, the cheapest gas prices are in Bell County at about $3.22. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the average person has around $187 worth of unused gift cards just laying around. We'll show you some unique ways to utilize that unspent money.
And a first alert weather day continues for heat and spotty storm chances. Your forecast coming up next.